welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber Brad, and this is Unpowered Red Prison. With Eternal Weekend coming, and it being one of the very few non-proxy events every year in the Vintage world, a lot of people will be looking for decks they can play if they don't own Power 9 cards. Red Prison is a popular choice for that because Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, Chrome Mox, Simian Spirit Guide all do legacy legal impressions of Moxen. You get more mana than you're supposed to have at any given time. That is the defining strength of this deck. And Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, and Mana Vault don't count as Power 9 for both budgetary and distinctive reasons, because sometimes events, and Eternal Weekend, at least in America, does have an unpowered prize, where you are competing in the main tournament, and then you're also competing against other people who are unpowered for a subset of prizes. These cards get away under that bar. And from there, we just have a prison-y aggro deck that is a Legacy staple, one of the top 3 decks in Legacy, basically going back years at this point. Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon can wreak havoc on the Vintage format. Decks like Dredge don't function without their Bazaar. Decks like Workshop are named after the card Mishra's Workshop. It's a lot worse if it's a mountain. A lot of decks play 0 or 1 basic lands in them, and a lot of those decks are not red naturally. Blood Moon, quite powerful in the format. The only thing you have to get around is the Moxen, which are pesky because they tap for colors and they are not lands. But that's why we have Vexing Bauble and Void Mirror. That stops the Moxen from coming down. Chalice the Void on 0 as well. Void Mirror over Null Rod here, because we need our own mana. The list that Brad sent me actually had a bunch of Null Rods in it, and I switched them out for Void Mirrors. This is technology borrowed from the White Initiative deck. White Initiative, also a stompy deck in Vintage that needs its artifact mana to function, but also needs to turn off Moxen and stuff like Force of Will. Void Mirror does both. When this card first came out in Modern Horizons 2, everyone thought it would break Vintage and Legacy. That didn't happen, though it is a useful tool in exactly decks like Ancient Tomb strategies. Trinisphere, Lockpiece, Karn, one of the best Lockpieces. This is a one-sided Null Rod. And then we just have a bunch of ways to inflict damage quickly to our opponent. Broadside Bombardiers. Fable the Mirrorbreaker is really important. There are 4 of these in the deck because you need your cards to keep being useful. And if you draw too many Pyroblasts in a matchup where it's not good, or the second Chrome Mox after you already have your mana set up, just having cards that matter keep flowing in a deck that otherwise doesn't have a lot of card selection, pretty important. And that's pretty much the deck. We're trying to stop people from going broken and then punch their head while they're stumbling. Let's try it out. I'm on the play in round 1, which is really important for this deck. I am going to keep. I have turn 1 Chalice on 0, turn 2 Fable the Mirrorbreaker. This isn't exactly guns blazing for the Vintage format, but I believe it's good enough. On the play, Chalice on 0, turning off all your opponent's fast mana is a pretty big deal. If you're on the draw, okay, it's Bazaar, so we might just be dead. But if you're on the draw, Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, you want to start considering those things. All right, Hollow One's bad news. This is a match where... Shit. All right, I'm getting my ass kicked. All right, well, my opponent is playing anti-magic, which is the solution to me trying to make them play magic. They're probably going to take Spirit Guide here, and then I will lose to this Hollow One very quickly. Now that I know the matchup, I would have mulliganed for a Blood Moon more aggressively. Or kind of in the trash here. Oh, they took Karn. Interesting. All right, I guess... Oh, well, that explains it. My opponent kept 7, has Hollow One Double Grief, and discarded 2 Dredgers. Hats off to you, opponent. Nobody in all of Magic is ever beating this hand. It doesn't matter if I have power or not. The only thing I could have done here is win on turn 1 with a different deck than I'm playing. Lelia the Blade Reforged. What can I do? Is there anything? If I attack with Lelia, it just dies to Hollow 1. I could play Lelia this turn. Just kind of park the bus. Alright, I'm just going to go to the next game. Yeah, that was one of the best hands their deck is ever possibly capable of in the scope of Earth. And my start did not answer it. Alright, this is one of the matchups that we don't need Chalice of the Void for. Ironically, if that was Vexing Bauble in my hand instead of Chalice of the Void, we would have won that game pretty quickly. Or at least stuffed their opening hand and they would have had to do a lot of dredging. They might have still easily won that game, actually. I'm lying. I'm lying to you. Okay, Pyroblast not that important here. Is there anything that's just really bad? Void Mirror does stop Hollow 1, Grief, Force of Will, Force of Vigor, all of those things. So does Vexing Bauble. I like that. Grafdigger's Cage in the main deck. We're bringing in Leyline of the Voids. Weathered Runestone. Non-land permanents in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield and players can't play spells from their graveyards. I think I should be bringing this in. Like, obviously it's for graveyard decks, but having it to grab with the Karn package is useful, but it costing 2 in this matchup is a lot more important than it being available for Karn. Trinisphere stops any spell they try to cast. It doesn't stop their dredging type shenanigans, but I have other stuff for that. Blood Moon's very important. Caves of Chaos Adventure could be risky versus Icarid. I'm going to cut one of the 4 drops. It's, do I want one Miser's Pyrogoyf in here, or just a Critical Massive Initiative? I think I like the Miser's Pyrogoyf better. Fury could take out random creatures, like if they do get a Hollow 1 down. Do I like that better than Caves of Chaos Adventure, or do I like it better than Lelia? I don't think so. Because most of those cards also tangle with Hollow 1. Okay. I have a turn 1 Magus of the Moon. I'm going to keep. This hand is weak to Force of Will, but we're going to have to live with that. It is not weak to Force of anything else. Okay, they have mulled to 5, including a Powder. I can play around Mindbreak Trap, so I will. Chrome Mox. I think I want to exile Broadside Bombardiers because Lelia will keep this game grinding. Magus of the Moon. There we go. Taking turns, winning on turn 1. They have no outs to that one. They can't even loot for a free Hollow 1 if Magus of the Moon's in play. Now I'm on the draw, and nothing changes. It's just worse for me. Leyline of the Void, much more important now. Blood Moon might be too slow. This might be on the draw. Maybe Fury does come in here. If that's better than Caves of Chaos Adventure, like if I need to stop Hollow 1s on the draw, yeah, maybe there actually is some nuance here, more than I originally anticipated. Vandal Blast can also kill Hollow 1. Like if Leyline of the Void is my strat, making sure I don't die to the random 4/4s in their deck is part of the strat as well. I think I'm going to shave Lelia for 1 Vandal Blast. I don't want to go too crazy on that because it's not like they're an artifact deck. But Lelia does not tangle with Hollow 1 unless she's in play for 2 turns already, and Vandal Blast can kill potentially more than 1. Alright, let's try it. Come on, Leyline in a keepable hand. That's what I need here. Oof. This hand is really good if I get a turn. They kept 7. Of freaking course they did. Okay, so chase the Leyline or hope I'm not dead. I think I have to chase the Leyline, though. Man, this hand's good. Mulligan. Mulligan. Oh no, we're going to 4. Alright. Yikes. This hand is really bad against Hollow 1 and good against anything else. I think I have to trust it. I'm going to get rid of Trinisphere, Blood Moon, and Void Mirror. Okay. I need an Ancient Tomb, Mana Crypt, something like that. Here's Bazaar. Bazaar can play Hollow 1s and dig for Force of Vigors. They discarded 3 things that would normally like being in the graveyard. I am not going to play Lotus Petal. So should Force of Vigor kills me anyway. Alright, I'm going to play Lotus Petal. Because if they Force of Vigor and take out my only mana, that sucks. But if they grief me and strip my only mana, that's worse. Okay, they didn't Hollow on me. Ancient Tomb, Ancient Tomb. Are we getting closer? If I could get this Magus of the Moon down before there is a Hollow 1 in play, that's a strat. Discarded 3 prized amalgams here. There is a Hollow 1 now, so I'm going to need a Fury. Alright, can I go all in on Magus here. And it basically turns it into a damage race where my deck functions and theirs doesn't, but they're ahead on the damage race. I'm going to roll these dice. Right, no block. Just need to hit mana. Lots of mana. That's what I want. Magus, get in there. They are stuck. They haven't griefed me. Fury's a good draw. Vandal Blast is a good draw. Shatterskull Smashing. Play the Hammer. Hammer pass. Now I could play a second Magus, which could double block. Yeah, I am going to do that. I'm not going to double block right away. I'm going to use my life total as a resource. Force of Will. All right. Force of Will confirmed to be in their deck. They might have even had it when I played Magus and committed to the race with Force backup. All right. Fury, Vandal Blast, jump blockers. That's none of the above. All right. This is the last turn I get to attack. I need to draw one of my removal spells for Hollow One. All right. Last moment. Fury, Fury. Noxious Revival, my Magus of the Moon. Okay. Well, that makes me draw that card this turn, which means I have to chump block this turn. Yeah, they keep 7, I mull to 4. Not the deal I wanted. I think if my hand just had 3 mana instead of 1 in it to start, then obviously this game's very different. But that's the Dredge experience for you. They get game 1 on the house, and then they lose the game. They're on the draw, and then they win the game. They're on the play. All right. They've time walked me again. GG's. All right. Bloodbath. Bloodbath magic. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2. I'm going to keep this hand. It has turn 1 Moon or turn 1 Karn, whichever one I feel is more appropriate for the matchup. Wasteland, Mox Ruby. No Luris revealed as a companion. Wasteland, Mox Ruby. So this might just be shops. Alright, I'm going to jam Karn. If whatever I cast resolves, which might be the case, then Karn is what I want to resolve here. Hell yeah. Bonk their Mox Ruby, get rid of that. They can Wasteland me here, but they probably need this mana more than I do at this point. Sphere Shops is a deck that plays their own Null Rods, so it's not like, oh, it's initiative, cool. Alright, well, I was just going to say it's not like they can't win under a Null Rod effect like Karn, but this early, before they have anything going on, it might be good enough. Alright, Karn can grab for the 1 ring, Argentum Massacre, or Weathered Runestone. This basic Plains is a bummer. I could jam the 1 ring. I could also play Magus of the Moon and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I think that's my plan. And I'll just keep plussing Karn. Alright, Magus, Fable. I'm doing it in this order because if they introduce the initiative next turn, Caves of Chaos Adventure can take it just by being cast, which is pretty sweet. Right, plus Karn on nothing and pass the turn. I can also plus Karn on my own Mana Crypt if at some point I'm more worried about the damage than I am about the mana. A Cavern naming nothing, because that's how Blood Moon works. Basic Plains, cramp in my style though. Warren. Are they more worried about Crypt or Fable? Yeah, I think Fable is the correct answer. Good call. Won my Crypt flip. Boom zoom boomby dooms. The legends. Okay. Now, Broadside Bombardiers can fling the treasure. Yeah, Bombardiers. Attack with everything. Stop before blocks. Alright, they're just conceding that. Cool. Alright, they had a kind of slow start. They didn't have something on turn 1. They lost their play. I got to break serve there in a matchup that's almost entirely about being on the play. Furies comes in. Anarchy is literally for this matchup. Check out this banger from Magic's past. 2 red, destroy all white permanents. Bang. Get him out. Pyroblast out. Grafdigger's Cage out. Are there more cards that are bad? And Void Mirror is only actually good on the play against this opponent. Vexing Bauble, I guess these could still hit Solitude, but they also hit my Furies that I just boarded in. I could just bring in Argentum Masticore as another big idiot to play. And I could bring in a Vandal Blast as answers on the draw to their artifact mana. Alright, I talked myself into this. Let's do it. Tragic Chalice of the Void on the draw. But I have the Anarchy and 3 mana. I'm going to keep. This hand's kind of weak to Wasteland. Chance to the Annex I don't care about. Alright. Chancellor Black Lotus start. Good chance we're dead here. Showing me how Power 9 works. Witch Blessed Meadow. Alright, Archon of Emeria is kind of a stinker though. All things considered. Okay. That's actually exciting. Now I don't care about this Chalice anyway. And I don't want to pitch any of the cards I have though. That's the problem. I'm working my way up to this Anarchy. Oh shit, I can't play this Chalice. Then I can't play the Chrome Mox ever. Alright. I think I have to play Chrome Mox and pitch Broadside Bombardiers here. Or I could pitch a Shatterskull Smashing and roll the dice that I find another mana source. Having a haste creature if I have to contest the initiative is pretty important. Okay. I've decided. Mox Jet, disappointing. My Chalice actually would have snagged something. Ooh, Lotus Petal, let's go. Okay. Shatterskull is my land. Lotus Petal is my spell. And Anarchy's online. If they play Clarion Conqueror, we're in trouble. If they play another Archon, it's fine. Okay, they're just passing the turn to me. In that case, I can just play Broadside Bombardier and start attacking. Disappointing. Alright, I could have taken the time for Chalice on 1 there, which might have made sense given that they didn't add to the board. Wasteland, I don't mind that so much right now. Okay, good thing I didn't Chalice on 1. Alright, I'm going to play Soul Ring and pass. I have a one-sided sweeper and a big creature I can deploy here. Witch Enchanter, that's going to kill my Soul Ring. Yep, Soul Ring's gone. Alright, now I need an untapped land if I'm going to play this Masticore this turn. That land comes in tapped, unfortunately. Right, Volcanic Fissure comes in tapped whether I pay 3 life or not. I can't play Masticore if I use Lotus Petal for Anarchy this turn. And I don't want to play the Chalice because I want to discard that to Masticore and kill their Mox Jet. Right, game on, Seasoned Dungeoneer's in. Doesn't trigger this turn. I go to 10, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this is exactly lethal. If I have nothing, but I don't have nothing. I have this Masticore. I'm going to roll the dice here and try to Wrath them and attack for 5 and take the initiative all at once, rather than Wrath from behind while the initiative's ticking. The Seasoned Dungeoneer can get in for 5 or 6, and this makes it 7 or 8. Vexing Bauble revealed. They won't want that. Yeah, that's in the bin. I'm at 2. If they can take the initiative ever, they win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They could have played Chancellor of the Annex there and didn't. That's good news for me. Alright, sack this unless you discard a card. I'm going to discard Chalice of the Void, which will destroy their Mana Crypt. Then I draw for turn and cast Anarchy, which destroys all of their non-land permanents. And I'm going to attack. Get the initiative. Don't Solitude me, bro. Right, I get a Mountain. And I'll drop that. Shatterskull Smashing, a good removal spell. Chrome Mox can be discarded to my Masticore to kill their Mox Jet next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is on Angel, but because they didn't cast it last turn with their Crypt, now they don't have it. Alright. I am going to Forge. I'm going to try to get this game over. Discard Chrome Mox, kill Mox Jet. Draw another Anarchy. Hell yeah. Back for 7. And I'm going to pass. I can blow up a 4-drop with just Masticore's discard. Right, they can play the Angel here, but now they have to block. Required to chump block if this is the Angel, but what else would it be? There we go. Yeah, they're at 6. I'm going to trap them to 1. Oh, wait, I'm going to discard Shatterskull Smashing and just win. How about that? Because that, my friends, is a white permanent. You lose 5 life. Oh, yeah! Anarchy for the win in Vintage. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 3. I have turn 1 Fable, turn 1 Lelia, or turn 1 Karn available to me. Not going to be mulling any of these things. I just need to improve my die roll abilities. Mox Sapphire. Karn's good against that one. No Luris again. Nobody in this league interested in playing the best card in the format. Ooh, interesting. That's a good follow-up, I believe, to Karn, if I can take out their Mox in this turn. So if I sequence the other way, then I get to keep all my mana. The problem is if they just fetch Basic Island here, or if they see that I'm some stompy deck and just jam over top of me. Those are both bad outcomes. Alright, I think this is worth the sequencing to get the Moon first, and then try the Karn after. Volcanic Fissure, I'll take the damage. Magus of the Moon. Fetching in response, are we going to see a Basic Island? An Underground Sea, okay. This might be Doomsday. Vamp Tutor in response. This could be grabbing Black Lotus, or it could be grabbing Tinker if they're a Tinker deck of some variety. Red, red, blue in the pool. Tinker confirmed. What's the hit? Bolus's Citadel. If this whiffs a little, I can do a lot of damage. Vexing Bauble. Okay, that turns off their Bolus's Citadel. Alright, yeah, they're brainstorming over top of Vexing Bauble, just trying to get anything moving here. Oh, come on, you found Ancestral Recall? Alright. That was a big gamble, and then they misstep their own Bauble. Alright, pretty sweet sequence there, actually. I wonder if they had the misstep already, so they knew that was no risk. But you don't want to tinker into Bolus's Citadel and see Vexing Bauble on top of the deck. That's just not how things go. All right, and the Brainstorm was in the correct order, so they've set up their next 2 cards. There's Time Vault, there's Tezzeret, and now I lose. All right, so they're a Tezzeret combo deck. Turns out maybe playing the Karn first was better. Okay, Red Blast, probably worth it versus this Tinker strategy. Karn's going to be really important. Fury can deal damage to Tezzeret, but that mostly doesn't matter if they're already taking infinite turns. Grafdigger's Cage does turn off Bolus's Citadel. Yeah, I think I mostly just need to stomp this opponent before they do stuff. Weathered Runestone stops Tinker. Alright, I want Weathered Runestone. I probably want Red Elemental Blast. I think I'm going to cut 1 Moon and 1 Caves of Chaos Adventure, or 1 Pyrogoyf. 1 Pyrogoyf. Yeah, I think this makes sense to me, or the Vandal Blast should probably be in. Yeah, alright, Vandal Blast should be in. Where am I putting these now? The 4 drops are where I'm usually most willing to make a cut. I do still have to win the game somehow. Alright, Blood Moon, 2 Blood Moons, 2 4 drops out. I still have my Magus of the Moons, and all of my other prison elements, my non-moon prison elements. Grafdigger's Cage and Pyroblast. This is not exactly powerful. It needs another mana. I will keep it. I can play Cage with Secret Pyroblast off of the Spirit Guide, and I just need to find a mana of some kind, and then we're doing stuff. Okay, so they can still tinker for Bolus's Citadel, but they can't use it. Alright, that was a good hit. I'm going to play Chalice on 0, even though that does hit my Chrome Moxes and Mana Crypt, which are draws that I would like. But my job is to lock them out here. Another Vamp Tutor. Ponder's fine. I'm going to fight over Tinkers, Force of Wills, Ancestral Recalls, stuff like that. Saga. That's really good against Magus of the Moon. Okay. I can shove Magus right now. Is Fable better than Magus? I think Fable is better than Magus, but their Saga means that if Magus comes down any later, they're going to have unlimited constructs. Alright, they had Force of Will anyway. Pitching Paradoxical Outcome. Basic Island, that's cheating. But I do only have 3 moons left in my deck. Can I get some mana here? Some mana to play the game. Nope. Alright, Vandal Blast just became very important. I wouldn't be worried here, except that Urza Saga is happening, which obviously restricted cards are busted when they show up. I wonder if that's what my opponent vamped for. Like under these multiple lock pieces, do you just vamp for Urza Saga? Is that a thing? Could be. If I draw an Ancient Tomb or City of Traders, I can start dropping the cards from my hand with Pyroblast protection. Mana Vault. Yeah, that is a big temporary burst of mana. Tolarian Academy is a big permanent burst of mana. There's Tezzeret. That one's bad news for me. Construct getting in. I don't think I'm going to blast a Ponder, even though they are running out of cards in hand, and there is a colorless spell that wins the game in their deck. Didn't shuffle Ponder. Sensei's top. Tezzeret goes bigger. Tezzeret still has an activation this turn as well. They could buff a Construct or tutor something good. Or untap Mana Vault. That one's good too. Tezzeret being in the metagame is pretty bad for prison decks because it's just a 3-mana thing that does a ton of powerful stuff and mostly doesn't care about lock pieces. Like, you have to redefine how you think about lock pieces. Okay, I could kill Tezzeret here if I'm willing to give up Grafdigger's Cage. I think I might have to. That Tezzeret's a problem. I'm going to take damn near lethal damage on the backswing. But welcome to Urza Saga Gaming. Nice try, it has Menace. Legacy player here. Please read. Vintage players don't know how combat works. Alright, Tezzeret's at 3. Throw Grafdigger's Cage at it. We dealt with that. Now we will die to everything else that's going on. I gotta hope their hand and all the cards that Sensei's top are looking at are all just 0 mana Moxen that don't work under Chalice. And even then, I'm probably still losing this game. Right, this is probably a paradoxical outcome if they're tapping their top like this. Yep. They've done a good job playing around my Pyroblasts for the game, which is mostly just a function of me not having enough mana, but that's a function of being an unpowered deck in a format with Moxen. Oh good, another Tezzeret. I just sacrificed most of my board to deal with the first one. Alright, we know there's a top in the hand. Our Soul Ring, this is, the top makes 10, tutor makes 12. They just need to come up with, they could almost ultimate Tezzeret, or they could ultimate Tezzeret, and no, they need one more artifact to ultimate Tezzeret and win. Tez is your emblem. At the beginning of combat, puts 3+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it's a 0/0 robot. So they have 10 damage right now. If they alt Tez, that puts me to 1. They could put the counters on a construct. If they have another artifact anywhere in their pool of cards they can look at and play, then they win. Flip the top. That shrinks the constructs. Good job, me. Tinker. Time Vault. Tezzeret still has its activation available, which can untap target artifact. Yep, cool. Yeah, Tezzeret, super tight package. I'm recording this the day after Edge of Eternities came out. Like, by the time you're watching this, I'm sure we all know about Tezzeret and its play patterns, but yeah, obviously this card is very, very, very good. A solo combo with Time Vault that's also a value engine without it. Just, if you're a vintage player, get your Tezzerets now. Or get them 3 weeks ago when I recorded this. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I've once again failed the die roll, but I am going to keep my hand. This is a turn 1 Trinisphere. No Lurrus revealed. Alright, we are once again playing against White Initiative. Chrome Mox, Chancellor of the Annex, on a Mulda 6. Archon of Emeria. Alright, my deck does play basic lands. Alright, Mountain, and I think I have to pitch Lelia here because Broadside Bombardiers is that boy. Like, I have to use my spell, because that's how Archon works. Okay. My deck is very good against Chancellor of the Annex, I will say that. All right, Lelia. Man. Menace is worth a lot in this matchup. So is size and card advantage. It really depends on if they have a follow-up play here or not. All right, I'm going to bet on broadsides. Imagine if I had Trinisphere on turn 1. I guess I still wouldn't because they would have revealed the Chancellor, but at least I would have known. I could have played turn 1 Void Mirror, which might be better than Trinisphere against them. Uh-oh. That card's really good against broadside bombardiers. Makes it harder to come down and harder to activate. They did name broadside for that. This comes into play tapped, unfortunately, and I am going to chalice on 1 because I don't have any cards affected by that, but they might have Swords to Plowshares. I guess they have Soul Ring and Mana Vault, but they have those cards too. White Plume. All right, I can take the initiative by casting a spell next turn, which might be too late for it to matter. Yeah, winning the die roll, pretty big deal with this deck, turns out. I don't think I can win, and I don't think I want to show them that I have my own initiative creatures. Okay, we've done this before. Let's do it again. Anarchy. Void Mirror and Vexing Bauble do actually work on the play here. I don't think Blood Moon is that important. I still like my Magi. I like my haste creatures. Karn's great. Pyrogoyf is great. It's easier to sideboard on the draw because I have so many cards that are bad there. I think I'm going to shave a Void Mirror because I still have Chalice, Bauble, and the other Void Mirror. Maybe Void Mirror is just bad, even though I would like to snag their Moxen on the way down, but I do have 2 ways to do that and stuff to sideboard in. Okay, fine. This is a turn 2 Magus of the Moon with an Infinity Urza Saga under it. Is that fast enough? Do I trust my deck to mulligan this? I think I like the Saga. All right, I'm going to keep. Being able to make a construct every turn of the game is pretty tempting. Saga. I know they have Wasteland, but if they spend this turn Wastelanding me, that's okay. Mana Crypt. Mox Ruby. I'm not allowed to play that one. Wasteland. Karn the Grey Creator. Fudge off. All right, well, that is a specific combination of 3 restricted cards that obliterates me. I still have Ancient Tombs and stuff in my deck. Chrome Mox does not help. Urza Saga now can't pop into mana. Yeah, Karn specifically. Damn. What a beating. Okay, I can't imagine winning this game, but I will play on. All right, yep, there's the Wasteland. And that was going to die without doing anything anyway, but I guess it does deny me 1 mana next turn, which 3 is my critical number. Basic Plains. Archon of Emeria. They did not bother activating Karn. Awfully honest of them. Okay. That is a useful land. I'll put it into play tapped and worry about it next turn. I still got Furies and Anarchies in my deck. Maybe we can catch up now that I've actually found lands to play with. It depends on how much they can pressure me. They're also 3 for 3 on Crypt Flips, for those keeping track at home. Okay. Depending how fast they pressure me, turns out to be really freaking fast. Karn is getting something now. Mycosynth Lattice, wow. They have room for that card? I'm impressed. Okay, so here I am going to... I would like to kill Karn, but I mostly can't. I'm going to kill Archon of Emeria and take the initiative here. Attack my opponent because that's how I get the initiative. Activate this, deal 3 damage to Archon. That's before blocks, thank you. Still has Menace, still has Menace. Man, vintage players. They just don't read cards, don't know how to attack and block. This is the attacking and blocking deck. If anyone should know how to do it, it's you, opponent. Okay, I briefly have the initiative. I will lose it next turn. But maybe we can smash it back and forth for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they have a mana, I am under a lattice. And activated abilities include Boast. So I can't attack and fling under a lattice. Alright, bad news, team. We're dead. Though I mean, they have a creature in play, which is really bad. Oh, they did not attack. I guess they don't have to. I'm going to forge onto broadsides. It mostly doesn't matter what I do here as long as they don't throw the game in the trash. But if I can't activate abilities, then the initiative still works. They will at some point have to attack me and take the initiative. Still winning crit flips. It's fine. It's fine. That's just my win con. Oh, Swords of Plowshares? That's cheating. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. Still bad at die rolls. We are finally against a Lurrus strategy. My hand, it's got a lot of stuff it can do very quickly. I am going to keep. We'll find out soon what flavor of Lurrus they are. Cataxian Probe. Yeah, have a peek. Soak it in. Whatever spells you want to cast, do it now, because they're not going to get any more. God, imagine this hand if I won the die roll. This is turn 1 Vexing Bauble into Trinisphere, or Vexing Bauble into Blood Moon. Bauble into Moon's probably better, because Sphere turns off Bauble. But that doesn't happen for 3 turns. Dumped a Mox Pearl. Good call. That card will not help you this game. That Undercity Sewers is promising. That makes me feel like we might have a chance. But the probe's really tough, because now that they've seen my hand and know that spell-piercing Chrome Mox is devastating for me, that might be a line they take. Even like Force of Negation on Chrome Mox could collapse my whole color spread here. Deathrite Shaman. Okay, we are Bug. Deathrite Shaman, Deathrite Shaman. There are no lands in graveyards. I don't plan on putting any there. Okay, interesting. 2 cards left in their hand. We'll see how this goes. Now I have a better pitch to Chrome Mox. Do I need to play around Daze? I hope not, because I'm not going to. City of Traders, Chrome Mox, pitch Shatter Skull Smashing, play Vexing Bauble, play Soul Ring, and Blood Moon. I think Blood Moon's better here, because that makes it so City of Traders doesn't die when I play my next land, and Wasteland doesn't turn on these 2 Deathrites. They have 2 red mana to work with. Spent their Lotus on a pair of Deathrites. They're on the beatdown here, but Broadside is bigger than their board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I think I am going to play Trinisphere here. Though, why? What does that do? I don't think I'm going to play Trinisphere here after all. Alright, Ancient Tomb, Broadside Bombardiers. I have enough mana here that I think I can live without Chrome Mox. If I attack them, kill one of their Deathrites, just get control of the board, and then kill them with Broadside. The card Oko is one I don't want to play against here. Mesmeric Orb, fascinating. Okay. The game just became very different. I don't know what the hell's going on now. Yeah, whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller mills a card. So I'm about to mill 2, or mill 3. If this mills lands, then Deathrite is on. Fascinating. Okay. I think I should kill Deathrite Shaman with Shatter Skull Smashing. Just deal 2 damage to that. That lets me save all my permanents, all my lock pieces, and keep pushing damage. And we'll figure out what the hell's going on with this mill deck. There goes a Cabal Therapy. I don't care about most things that would come out of the graveyard because of Vexing Bauble. Like, even if they hit Narcomoeba and Dread Return here. Alright, cool. Wow, what is going on over there? We saw Cabal Therapy. I don't know if that's enough to justify Leyline of the Void. I don't think it is. I think I want my Furies in. Void Mirror on the draw comes out. Grafdigger's Cage, useful. Vexing Bauble, they may or may not be a Force of Will deck. I think Chalice on the draw comes out. I could get a Masticore or a Reb. Or I have 3 Rebs already. I think I'd like a Masticore. Alright, let's game. We're in the brew bracket, kids. This is what the 1 and 3 bracket looks like. My opponent has Power 9 in their deck, though, and if we beat them, it still counts. Okay, a turn 1 Blood Moon. I'm gonna try it. Cataxian Probe. Do they know that's restricted? I need a deck check. They're fetching. They have a chance at Basic Island here if they play one and if they care. Are 2 boxes that need to be checked here. They either don't play one or don't care. But if the Miser's Cataxian Probe turned on a Cabal Therapy, that's so frustrating. Vintage, baby. Where restricted cards show up sometimes. And there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, we've been Cataxian Probe Cabal Therapied. Blood Moon off the top. Ah! It's so funny that it's Blood Moon too, because I only play 2 of those. That's even funnier. It's even better that way. I'm gonna jam it. Unless I get Mental Misstep. Force of Negation pitching Psychic Frog. Okay. I'm glad to see Psychic Frog go. I wonder if they have more than 1. because Psychic Frog is better than Broadside Bombardiers when they're heads up. Pheto Alchemist, okay. Untap target artifact or creature. This is a Time Vault deck, and Blood Moon does not stop Time Vault from joining this game. I'm going to play Magus and not Blood Moon, because this one can block their 1-2 on the beatdown strat. Urza's Saga still taps for colorless, but it does not gain the next chapter as long as there's a moon in play. Please just don't cast Time Vault right now, and it'll be fine. Black Lotus. That one's dangerous, but God dang it. The Black Lotus was just showing off. All right. I could play this out for information, but too busy tilting off. Okay, we've got back on the play, Chalice of the Void. I don't think Void Mirror is good here. I'm off it. Chalice of the Void, probably better than Argenta Masticore. And then, how many artifacts is this deck going to have? Am I going to try to Vandal Blast them? Probably not. Okay. I could Pyroblast or Fury, or I have a lot of ways to kill the Pheto Alchemist. Let's try to fade specific combinations of restricted cards this time. All right, Snap Keep. Snap Keep. This hand is sweet because it bullies Force of Negation. I can cast this Blood Moon even through a Force if they try to attack my mana, which it seems like is not their goal. All right, how much mana do I actually have here? 3, 4, 5. I'm one short of doing everything. All right, I will play out the Soul Ring. They're like blatantly F6'd, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Okay. Playing Blood Moon there versus Caves of Chaos Adventure is kind of interesting, but knowing that they're a combo deck full of power, I kind of want to slow them down wherever I can first. Oxjet. None of the things I did slow that down. Good luck. The Blind Therapy. No Gataxian Probe to save you this time. Broadside Bombardiers. Good guess, but no. A Mountain. Mana Crypt doing its thing. Taking damage, always. Well, that draw was pretty decent, actually. Now I'm going to cast 2 spells this turn. Mountain, Pitch Spirit Guide, Fable. On like Donkey Kong. In like Donkey's Twin. Out like Donkey Spout. I'm going to stop now, I promise. Okay, Forge onto... Do I want it on... Yeah, I just want it on the creature with Trample. That sounds correct. All right, they're just giving up. Sweet. All right, I'm not quite sure what that was, but a 2-3 record. I was on the play once, and that was against Dredge, which is the matchup where if you don't know what you're up against, then being on the play might not help you, as we saw. We also saw a lot of the things we're trying to do, we care about from the other side, like the whole Karn, Void Mirror, Vexing Bauble, Chalice on 0 business that we're trying to do when we're on the play can be done to us when we're on the draw. I don't care for that. I did like the potency of Blood Moon. Very impressed by both Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon in this league. Those were the games where I felt like largely went my way when I got to actually do that. I think you can tinker with the slots here. How many Void Mirrors do you want? How many Pyroblasts do you want? These are meta choices. Do you want another land? Like, you could play another Sundering Eruption over the one of Laelia if you want to keep more hands and curve out more often, or you could cut the one of Pyrogoyf and keep your 3 drops. I think having mana to play on is the most important thing that this deck can do. Like, you have to survive turn 1 and then continue playing. There were a few games where I didn't survive turn 1. And then there were games where I did survive turn 1, but I couldn't continue playing because I used all of my temporary mana, like Lotus Petals, Mana Vaults, Simian Spirit Guides, to do whatever I did on turn 1, which kept me alive for 3 turns. But if I'm not doing anything, but my opponent is developing during those 3 turns, it doesn't matter. Finding that balance is going to be the key here. But as we saw, I went 2-3, and some of the losses were close. And that's being on the draw basically every round, where being on the play, some of those rounds would have won instead. There is some inherent variance in Magic always. The play draw is one of the things. This deck is particularly impacted by that. But if you don't own Power 9 and you want to come to Eternal Weekend, there's some stuff you got to give up on. Unfortunately, that is just the nature of the beast. Those cards cost what they cost because they are the best at what they do. Brad, thank you for this. I hope it gives some food for thought on how to balance the flex slots and where you want to put your energy moving forward. I know a bunch of people in my BoshNRoll Patreon community played this deck at Eternal Weekend Unpowered last year. There's a few people in there. If Brad or anyone else wants to ping that community and see what the thoughts were from last year, it's a respectable choice. I'm going to leave that there. Brad, thanks for sharing this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.